Hey, this is Dr. Elerod Morris, aka Dr. Digital, and welcome to the Teachers Lounge podcast, where great educators do amazing things. So, Ms. Praylor, thank you so much for coming to my podcast here at the Teachers Lounge. How you doing?
I'm doing well. What about you?
I'm doing good. Shout out to the baby.
Oh, yes.
Yes, look at that face. Look at that. Look at that face. It's so cute.
Yes.
Yes, it is. So, but let's get right into it.
Okay.
I've already spoken to you before we got here, and you do a lot of great, amazing things. It's a lot to say on my own, so I'm gonna let you say it. But first, if you don't mind introducing yourself, tell us about where you work, what do you do at your job, what do you teach, and anything else you would like to give us as a good intro.
Okay. My name is Chelsea Praylor. I am a teacher here at Northeast Guilford High School. I teach early childhood education and child development. I am a lateral entry teacher, so I came from the field to the classroom. And so this is my, trying to do the math, I've been here almost 7 years, since 2009. You're younger than me. What's that?
That's 2009, 11, 10 years.
10 years? No. We got to add.
I'm tripping.
14?
14.
This
I'm
is an
tripping.
edit.
I'm thinking about,
This is an edit.
Yeah, that was a
14
joke. Them
years.
just jokes.
Yeah.
So
y'all edit this, and I've done this for 14 years.
Yeah.
On camera, where all of us are struggling with math, that's not my area.
I only know how to do binary and hash.
Okay, and I know
He just
about
know ones and
families
zeros.
children.
He just know
Families and children,
Families
that's
and
me.
children, that's what we know. But it's okay that we both lateral entry. I was lateral entry. For those that don't know, what is lateral entry and what field was that you came from?
I came from the human services field. That means that I worked in the field similar to what I was teaching. And so I came into teaching with that experience from that field, and they gave, which is human services, and so they gave me the number of years in that field for my salary for teaching, and so I just had to get the education courses and take the praxis for my certification.
Oh, so they copy and paste your years from the field work
They
into the
did.
education field.
They did. So I didn't have to start at ground one.
All right, now I know that pay was
It was pretty decent.
it was nice.
And
huh?
summers off, yes.
Oh, and summer's off.
Summers and holidays, spring
Oh.
break, winter break, all that good stuff.
So for those that are interested in teaching, coming from lateral entry, they might need a break from corporate or something. You would say, go for it.
Go for it.
Okay.
But it's not for the weak.
It's
I
not
will
for the
say
weak.
that. It
I
is
will-
not for the weak.
I will
And it's a
contest.
hard thing as well.
Okay. So let's get right into it. What's it like in the classroom for you?
Ooh. On any
What's it like?
given day, it could be something very different. But for me, classroom is my happy place. I definitely enjoy what I do. I enjoy children, I enjoy families, and I enjoy teaching about that. And I would like to say the teenagers, they keep me somewhat relevant. But you know I'm not very relevant. We had already had that discussion. So yeah, I like that.
We did, and we're gonna get right back. In the terms of the kids, as they say, we're gonna spin the block twice
Yeah.
on that conversation.
Ooh, that's a new one. Okay.
That's a new one.
Yes.
I ain't capping.
Okay. Now, I teach all girls mostly.
Yes.
Yeah, so our, dialogue is a little different,
Okay.
sometimes, so. And I'm
Okay.
probably a couple of years behind. I gotta catch up. It's gonna be my goal for this school year.
We gonna update. We're gonna update ourselves, right?
Yes.
In other words, in terms, we're gonna update our hard drives, right? Ooh, that's nice.
Okay.
See, I put that in there. We're
Yeah.
gonna keep that.
All right.
Okay. So let me get right into the next question. We were just talking about how the baby can add as a what's the word I'm looking for? The baby can add as a cell phone for a young kid. You know what I mean? In other terms, like you needed something to feel comfortable in that where you're in the space. And we were talking about earlier, like kids typically are using the phone as that replacement. It's a piece of them.
Yes.
Right? So, and it's part of their coping mechanism for like maybe feeling nervous, maybe like feeling like they have to have the agitation of doing something every few seconds, right? Some people tap their feet, some rub their leg.
Some rocking his chair like you.
Right, because it's the baby. It's the baby, right? But so going into like, let's talk about a little bit of the social economic learning and digital literacy integration, if you will. How does that work together with social economic and like digital literacy in the classroom?
Well, prior to COVID, it was a real big issue. During COVID, after COVID, each child, they have their own device where they can have access to the computer. But sometimes the internet is the issue. So you have the computer, but if you don't have the internet, you can't do online work. So there is definitely a difference when it comes to what I'm about to call.
We're gonna keep it.
No, that was ugly.
We're gonna keep all this.
Okay, so there's definitely a difference with access when we look at the social and economic status.
So like internet deserts. And
Tell
like,
me what internet deserts
so
are.
internet deserts, kind of like food deserts. You know how like
Oh, yeah. Okay, I got you.
Kids got to go like McDonald's and all that for internet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I have had students that actually do an assignment on the phone.
That happens too. That does happen.
That would probably take me 2 days trying to type all that stuff. You know? Yeah, so it's an issue.
So in core subjects like yourself in early childhood education,
Which is a career and technical education course.
which is a CTE
An elective,
course.
yes, CTE.
Career technical education. How does technology or digital literacy tie into that?
Well, for me, I use it a whole lot. I always start out my objectives with vocabulary because I'm not going to teach you the content if you don't know all of the words in the content. So we always start out with vocabulary. Depending on the type of vocabulary, we'll spend at least 1 day, sometimes 2 days. And so that's when I use most of my technology. We will use Quizlet to introduce them to the key terms. They can review them with flashcards and then play a game to become more familiar with it. Take their own tests, keep taking it, make their tests and take it, keep taking it until they're proficient. And then we move into Quizlet Live, where we have the opportunity for collaboration. It's my favorite. My students can almost tell you the lesson plan at the beginning of an objective because we always do Quizlet, then Quizlet Live. That's when they are broken up into teams and they are given the words, and each person may have a different word on their device. And so they have to talk and communicate with each other so that they can select the correct answer. It's a race. You see who's behind, who's in the lead, and if they miss a term, they have to start all over. And it's a whole big ruckus. Classroom gets really loud, and I love it.
Oh, it's lit.
Yeah, it's lit. It gets lit and loud.
It's lit.
Yeah, and then I'll try, being the broadcaster, saying what team is ahead, and they tell me to stop because it's annoying. So yeah, I get into it as well.
That's awesome. So like the kids get to work on their social skills too.
Social skills, yes, and that's really great for some who are lacking in that area. So they have to communicate with others in the classroom to be successful. And there's a little incentive for the winning team. They'll get a piece of candy, or if it's around exam time, I'll give points or tickets for a drawing. And so yeah, I like competition. So it works well for them as a motivation.
All right, awesome.
And so that's Quizlet Live. We also do Blookin'.
What's that?
Well, my students turned it on to me last year. This is where another vocabulary game. Well, it's a game, but I put my vocabulary in it. You get to choose the type of game that you play. You can go fishing. You can do crypto, where they can hack each other's passwords and steal their money. And so again, it's all learning and having fun, and it gets loud and competitive, and I enjoy that as well.
Is it free?
Oh, it's free. I'm very cost efficient.
What's the name of it again?
Blooket, BLOOKET.
Okay, no free shout outs, but shout out to Book.
Yes, and also like now I do pay a little bit more for the Quizlet.
Okay.
Because with the Quizlet I pay a yearly fee, but I get the data. And so when they do Quizlet Live, at the end I get the data from the terms that they missed, terms they need to study, and then we'll have a dialogue. And I have them annotate their key terms, compare and contrast the terms, talk about why it was confusing, and then pull out things to help differentiate between those terms.
You know what we call that in the tech field?
What y'all call that?
Data analytics.
Ooh, that sounds fancy. Yes. So we play and then we do data analytics.
You do data analytics
Yes.
to figure out where your students are at in the classroom.
Yes, and we also use it to, we do quizzes as well. That's another one. I use that for questions.
Okay.
And so proficient is 70%. And so we always want to be proficient in quizzes, and if we don't, we go over the data. We do data analytics with that as well.
Not
And
a
Cahoots.
buzzword.
Yes,
Not
and Cahoots. So yeah,
Love
I am big on games with vocabulary.
So with education being the way it is right now, and it has grown exponentially since, I would say, the past decade. Right? We have new innovative ways of teaching that are introduced to teachers in the classrooms. We have new technology. Instead of using a sugar bag
Or an egg.
or egg, you know what I'm saying? We got babies now that cry for real, and they smell like babies.
Yes.
You know, they're robots.
Yes.
Yes. Where do you see this going in the next 10 years from now?
Well, I think the classroom will look very different in the next 10 years. And I will have been retired by then. Yes. Yeah.
Not retired.
Yeah. So it's kind of hard for me, to think that far in advance because, I'll be looking at, retirement. But I would say, or I would hope that there would be no deaths.
Okay.
I would hope that it would look somewhat like this lab. We talked about that.
Yeah.
Already now, most of the time, most of the work that we do are on devices. Worksheets, they'll definitely be a thing of the past. Books, I would say, would be a thing of the past, and it would just be all technology driven.
Well, since everything is pretty much technology driven, it's clear that our youth live in a different version of the metaverse than we do, right? So like, they're VR, Roblox, you know what I'm saying, everything. And to that statement, how can we establish a relevant content in our lesson plans as educators that can connect the attention and the social experience of our students in the classroom?
Well, I like to get feedback from the students because when they start murmuring and complaining, I'm tired of this, yada, 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 I put it back on them. Well, what do you suggest we do? Well, we can do this or we can do that. Some of the stuff I toss out, you're absolutely not. You're going to get me fired. I love y'all, but I love my job. I got a family to help take care of. I need my job.
Right.
And so I follow their lead with suggestions. Looking at what other co-workers, are doing. Just being here at this summer camp has been very enlightening for me. Our dialogue, our conversation. I'm thinking about, doing some things, very different, next year. Once, I'm the rule follower. Once I figure out how to incorporate those cell phones, which we do when we play our games. And then sometimes we'll do it when we are looking at our unpacked content with a Nearpod, when we watch videos and they have to respond, on their phone. But I definitely understand through you that is part of them.
Yeah.
And I understand that now. I just thought they were just delusional, or it's crazy. Just like right now doing this interview, this baby is part of me because it's comforting. It's my security blanket. Their phone is their security blanket. And so I'm rambling now, but I definitely do want to make sure that I follow their lead and incorporate things into the classroom. I do it, but it's not the real thing. Like with Facebook, I haven't created Facebook posts on a template from PowerPoint,
Yeah.
which it's okay. It's better than creating a poster to them, but it's not like the real
The
thing.
real thing, yeah.
So I have to figure out a way where I can be in compliance as well as
Yes.
we're laughing, as well as meeting the needs that they have.
Yeah, we do want to be in compliance.
We want to be in
We want to be in
compliance.
compliance. But
We do.
I will honestly say from my perspective, I think that the rules are probably a little too strict because not understanding where the students are from a much higher hierarchy at times. It's so much of a large gap.
You throwing Maslow in there? His hierarchy of needs? Yes. That is. I teach about those theories.
I don't know what to do with these hands.
That is. I like that.
Yeah.
That, looking at that, safety is one of the basic needs after the physiological needs, the food, the clothing, the shelter. Next, the safety.
Yeah.
Is that the cell phone? I don't know, but it could be. But I do know I always have, my mama, she might need to get me. This my mama calling, can I answer the phone? Is that really your mama? She gonna get me if I don't answer the phone? Well, they can call the office, whatever. That's like a thing of the past, but I really do appreciate the understanding that you have given me about that being a part of them. And I think it needs to be more education and an awareness on that matter.
So, to your point, real quick, you said like parents be calling their kids like, "Oh, it's my mama on the phone," and all of that. I gotta get this. We have in IT, it's called policy and compliance, and these are rules and regulations set within the guidelines of the items that we can use. So we have access to the internet and everything like that, but there's certain things that we can and can't do. Those are like your etiquette, and we call them etiquette.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So those can be put in play in the classroom for educators, you know what I'm saying, for their students. You can use your cell phone, but we will not take personal calls, right? If you get a personal call, you need to get there from the office, right? Things like that.
Right.
So there can be ways that we can, meet the students where they are, right? Not coming from you, I mean coming from a much more hierarchy standpoint.
That would be great.
Yeah. But is there anything that's like words of wisdom, final remarks, like maybe to like an educator coming into the classroom?
Okay. What I would say is definitely observe the children. See what they like. Figure out how you can incorporate that into the classroom. That's what we call relevancy at the beginning, correct? Okay. It will cut down on a lot of heartache and pain. Most of all, just don't stop growing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I can't close out no better than that. I appreciate that. Mrs. Praylor, thank you so much for coming to the podcast here at the Teachers Lounge. And we will spin the block twice again on another interview.
Okay, thank you.
All right.